So they are the horizontal axis wind turbine that you are aware of. So it's the whole assembly is adjusted in such a way that it can move anywhere in the direction of the wind and we can extract maximum amount of energy. So that is called as a yaw control strategy. Okay. So yaw control technique is required in case of horizontal axis wind turbine, but it is not required in vertical axis wind turbine because the blades are not in a horizontal direction so that it can move anywhere. They are circular along the vertical axis. Okay, we'll go in detail with. So one more thing that we have seen is heavy machinery, generator, gearbox, and other mechanical components can be located down on the earth in case of vertical axis. So maintenance, repair, any troubleshoots are easy in case of vertical axis as compared to horizontal axis. The tower need not to be structurally as strong as horizontal because in case of horizontal axis wind turbine, all assembly is on the top of the tower. So strength of the tower is very important and high amount of money is expended on erection of the horizontal axis wind turbine. So comparatively, we don't need such a strong, structurally strong structure for vertical axis wind turbine. Now it is generally popular with two or three blades. So number of blades we can have two or three. Four blade system is also available. But in case of a two blade system, there is a problem of vibration. Vibrations are much, but we can get higher speed with the help of two blades. Okay, with the three blades, vibrations are comparatively less. So what on the from design point of view, up to the capacity of 2 megawatt generation to 3 megawatt generation, generally two blade system is suitable. And for more than 3 megawatt, sorry, less than 2 megawatt systems, all small turbines, we go for a three blade system because three blade system vibrations problem is not there, but speed is less. Okay, so this is what we already have studied. Then we have to today we have to see various types of vertical axis wind turbine rotors. So there are four different types: Savonius, Darius, H Darius, and helix shape. So depending upon shape of the rotor, so if you can observe here, the shape is like S. So it is Savonius. Okay. So depending upon the blade structure, as per the aerodynamics theory, different blade shapes are designed so that we can extract the maximum speed and we can have maximum wind energy generated. So depending upon that, in case of vertical axis wind turbine, we don't have any yaw control to face the wind. So directly wind in any direction will try to rotate the turbine. So this is a Savonius type of a rotor with a shape of blades as shown in figure A. This is Darius rotor. So it is a ring type. Okay. This is H Darius with a three blade system. These two are a two blade system, right? This is also a three blade system, which is helix shape. Now we'll see the various parts of a horizontal axis wind turbine. In the last slide, we have seen vertical axis wind turbine, various rotors. Now this is the horizontal axis conventional wind turbine or a wind generation technique. So you can see these are the blades. So I've shown the three blade system which is less than 2 megawatt generator generation. This is called as a rotor hub, the front side. Okay, this is the yaw control which keeps this nacelle which keeps this front rotor hub moving to face the direction of the wind to extract the maximum amount of energy from the wind, available wind. This is a gearbox with the help of which we can adjust the speed and we can have a locking arrangement as well. As we already have discussed, we must have a minimum wind speed to extract energy from it. In the same way, we have a limit on the maximum wind speed because at that time there are chances of breakage of the blades and the rotor hub. So to avoid that, we lock all the blades and purposefully we stop the rotation of the blades even though high amount of wind is there. Generally it is in case of a storms, okay, or a high wind speeds. So for that purpose we need to take the control. and therefore it could be done with the help of controlling mechanism. This is a generator. As we have discussed, all assembly is placed on the top of the tower, so structurally strong tower is required. So this is a tower, and this is a nacelle. Okay, nacelle is to control the direction of the rotor hub. So direction could be controlled. So this is a nacelle. This is a generator which is connected to the turbine. So rotational movement of the blade is transferred to the input of the generator. Generator, as we all know, input is mechanical, output is electrical. So mechanical input is given through these blades, rotational speed to the generator, and output will be electrical energy that we can connect to the grid or we can utilize. Generally, wind farms are away from the populated area, so generally we are not using at home or any commercial complex, but we are directly connecting it to the grid, and generally we go for wind farm and all. So you might have gone through, or you might have seen the Suzlon plant of wind generation, which is near Satara. Okay, while going to that area, it is clearly visible from the roadways as well. So you all might have seen it. So these are the various parts of the horizontal axis wind turbine. Now, site selection for wind farm, we already have covered a bit about it. Superior wind speed. So, for horizontal axis wind turbine, minimum 3 to 5 meters per second speed is required for starting of a turbine. For vertical axis, from 1.5 to 2 meter per second also it starts. Then good road access to the site so that we can erect. While erection of the wind farm, we need to transport various parts, and we have to erect the towers, okay, which are structurally strong. So good road access to the sites is important. Suitable geology for on-site access, it is again important because we should get that minimum amount of wind speed, right, at a particular height. As we want to develop a structure, strong structure, the investment cost is very high for wind farms. Therefore suitable geology should be there. Then low population density, as it is hazardous to the birds and the human lives, right? So it should be population density should be less. There should not be any population, or it should not be near the city. Then minimum risk of agroforestry for operations, that we already have discussed in my last session. Close to suitable electrical grid, because we are generally connecting the generated energy to the grid, because high amount of energy we are generating with the help of wind farms. Then supportive landholders, it is the issue while development of a farm, because landowners should be supportive. They should be allow they should allow to develop the wind farm. Okay, so there may be some conflicts while initial stage, while taking the uh, ownership of that land, okay, from the landholders. Privately owned freehold land, so there should not be any complexity in legal aspects while taking over the land for development of the wind farm. Good industrial support for construction and ongoing operations, because see, all majority of the points are during erection only. So site selection when we develop the wind farm, so industrial support should be there, with the help of which we are going to develop the wind farm, because various components are required. Then testing, validation, failures, everything we have to take care of, and significant potential for revalidation. So these are the various points for selection of the site. Then we have to go for some important definitions. So one by one I'll cover all the definitions and then we will stop. So solidity. Solidity is the ratio of projected blade area to the area of the wind intercepted. So it is as good as how many number of it, again it will depend on the number of blades. So projected blade area to the area of wind intercepted. Okay, so if the blade area, how much is the blade area, and if wind intercepted is same, then it will be 100%, right? So obviously it has direct relationship with the torque and the speed. So if solidity is high, then rotor have high torque and low speed. Okay, when we get high torque low speed, meaning that it is having high solidity. High solidity means high torque, but comparatively speed will be less that time. So generally high solidity rotors. So when we go for a rotor, for the, I mean, selection of a rotor for a wind turbine, then we can specify it as a high solidity rotor or a low solidity rotor. So depending upon the application, we go for high solidity or low solidity. So high solidity rotors are suitable for pumping applications, whereas low solidity applications are suitable for electrical power generation, where we have high speed and low torque. We want high speed so that we can extract more amount of energy and we can connect it to the grid. Okay, so low solidity rotors have high speed but low torque, which is suitable for electrical power generation. So this is about the solidity. Now the second definition is the tip speed ratio, TSR, which is denoted by lambda. It is equal to 2 pi Rn upon V infinite, where V infinite is the wind speed. Okay, whatever wind speed we are getting. So higher the wind speed we are getting, lower will be the TSR, tip speed ratio. So 2 pi Rn, where R is the radius of the swept area. So it will be decided by the rotor dimensions, and n is the rotational speed in RPS. So if we compare now TSR with the solidity, then high solidity rotors which are suitable for pumping applications have low TSR, torque speed ratio, because we have seen that high solidity means high torque. Okay, so high torque have low TSR, torque speed ratio will be less for them. So TSR can be as high as 9. Now next is the power coefficient denoted by Cp, which is equal to power output from the wind machine upon power contained in the wind. So actually it is the efficiency indicator, right? Because power output from the wind machine, how much energy we are getting from our wind turbine, divided by power contained in the wind. Suppose both are same, then we are getting 100% efficiency. But we are not getting 100% efficiency. There are some losses taking place. Okay, so it is the conversion efficiency of, we can say it is a conversion efficiency. So it gives efficiency of a conversion of wind energy into mechanical energy at the shaft, and then that mechanical energy further we have to consider the efficiency of the generator and all wiring efficiency and everything. Then we will be able to find out the efficiency of a total wind system. So maximum value of a power coefficient is limited by the Bed's limit. Okay. Now we'll go to the design of wind turbine rotor next time. Here we have completed some important definitions which were useful for us. So we will stop here for today.